Welcome to Rate Your Pain, 1 to 10. We got Alan back. For those of you who didn't see the first episode, he told his story on RSD. He got most of it, a good portion of it, I should say, told. But we're going to dive more into the RSD part. So, do you have anywhere you would like to start, Alan? Or
It's just that I have my own YouTube channel called Squatch Zone.
Yes, definitely check it out, please.
I just created a new one for my drone videos called Sky Squatching. My grandkids actually, thought that one up for me, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sky Squatching. In fact, I'm gonna go tomorrow and go squatching
with the drone.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not only that's it for me, and I'm looking forward to what we're gonna do today.
Yeah, man. Let's hear about when you got your RSD, like that first year, what it was like for you adjusting to life with RSD and having to get around now with a bum leg. And let's start with that.
Well, it was rough, man. They gave me a wheelchair, and then they started the process for a power chair, and they told me I wasn't ever gonna get out of it. And so I had the wheelchair, and I was waiting for the power chair, and it sucked. I mean, it sucks for your family too,
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden they got to do more for you than
the pickup.
Yeah, like I used to cook all the time. I was barbecuing, and I was the one, doing the dishes. I did a lot of the workload in the house. And then I wasn't doing any of the workload, and couldn't stand at the barbecue grill. And
right.
And then there was the other thing. When you're in the wheelchair, they get tired of pushing you. You go to the fair or something.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're parked in a corner, and they're all out having fun, and you're sitting there watching them, thinking, "Man, this really sucks." And your butt level, So like a whole bunch of people get in front of you, and all you see is butts.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I hated the butt level thing.
Not to mention your butt starts to hurt from sitting in that chair.
Oh,
and no
man.
pillow really helps.
Yeah, and if you get out of it and stand up, everybody looks at you like, "What?" Because I was still like had a bodybuilder build, and so when I stood up, everybody thought I was like, pulling one on everyone, like what a lazy ass, he has to sit in the chair and his wife's pushing him around. What's that,
Right.
And when you get in the one in the store, everybody looks at you like, "Hey, why don't you save that for somebody that needs it?" And they can't see that you need it, And
that's something that I never use them, because I'm always just like, I feel weird. I feel like people are gonna look at me weird. They're gonna not believe me. Like, do I have to have an official card that says I'm disabled? I need to use this, but
right, like. Put a tape, disabled for real.
Get it tattooed on my forehead. An official seal. Yeah.
Well, I got over it finally. I just quit looking at everybody. But I have been attacked. Like I'll park in a handicap, and this is after I started walking, right?
Yeah.
But I still have a cane. But I'll get out of the car and I'll start walking, and if it's like a short little trip, like in a liquor store, or not walking through a Walmart or something like that, sometimes I'll leave that cane because I want to not have any handicap help. You know what I mean?
Good
not
to keep
with a cane, a walker, or anything. I really try. I want to get away from all of it, and maybe there'll be a time for a year or two that I won't have to use anything. That hasn't happened yet, but that's my goal.
But it's good to keep exercise, and physical therapy going to stop that atrophy. So sometimes, taking a few steps without the cane, I think it's good for it to keep that muscle build up,
Well, I do it in the house all the time. Like,
I do too.
I have one sitting there because some days there ain't no way I'm gonna walk anywhere without it, And some days I could get around pretty good, but there's some days I don't even get out of the bed.
Yeah.
I stay right in, and there might be like 3 or 4 or 5 days in a row like that, and you have to fight depression. You
Yeah.
know, where you get like that, even though you might be happy and everything, but your third or fourth day of not being able to get out of bed, you're starting to freak out inside of yourself, you
It
know.
bums you out, man. And you start to think about how, like my wife's going to work, she's socializing, she's getting to talk to people, and here I am just being a loser. Like, does she even want to be with me because I'm such a loser and I don't go out? Like, I have those thoughts that it'll get to my head sometimes, and I know she doesn't feel or think that way. But yeah, we get
Yeah,
down on ourselves.
I told my wife, like, in the first year, the first year, and I could see that it was wearing her out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even though she was still doing it, you sometimes there's days when they want to get a break, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could see that it was like wearing on her a little bit. And I told her, you know what? I'm not the man you married anymore. So,
Unfortunately.
like, here's your freedom. You know, fly, go, have a life, that's better than being chained to this with me.
Mm-hmm.
Torture thing.
Right.
And she was like, no, there was some times when she wound up having some problems, and I was doing everything, and she's like, and you didn't run off when I had my problems. I'm not running off. We married, like, this will be 42 years.
That's so cool.
And we started dating in high school, and we got married as soon as she graduated. I'm like 1 year ahead of her. And
That's so cool.
yeah, it doesn't happen anymore, I hear, very often.
Me and my wife, we met right after high school, so about a year after. So
yeah, still young though, like not really experienced much. That's what everybody kept telling us. You guys are so young and no experience, you're not gonna last, and her parents especially. I mean, had this
you need to go out and explore the world.
Yeah, I explored the world. I traveled all over the world, but she stayed home. She was more the scared one, doesn't fly, doesn't, all these fears that keep her from doing things. And then she has fibromyalgia.
Oh,
and it messes with her almost as bad as RSD.
That's what I've heard.
So some days it's me and her in the bed.
That's rough.
All messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of take care of each other.
Yeah.
That's
kind of cool that you guys have each other for that. I mean, so does she work?
No, we did foster kids. We not intentionally. We didn't start like we're gonna do foster kids, but my cousins, like 1987, they were being abused. And it's 3 boys, and they had different fathers, and one of them was disabled. The oldest one was disabled, mentally disabled.
Okay.
And then the middle one would take care of the young one, 3 years old. He would steal for food and everything, and had no idea all that was going on at all.
Wow.
And one day the Child Protective Service calls and says, hey, we're splitting. We have your cousins, and I guess they called everybody, all the family, and everybody's like, no.
Yeah.
So they said, we're going to split them up into foster homes, and they might get adopted out. Do you, last chance for these guys to stay together? Are you going to take them? I looked at my wife. I told him, let me call you in an hour. She goes, 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, and we talked for 20 minutes. She says, okay. And then we took them in, and then we kept them, and then we even took in more after that. Like,
that's cool.
Not
for you guys.
Not officially, but like when you have 6 kids now, they have friends, and then there would be kids that needed the Child Protective Service to step in. Their parents are like passed out drunk for a week,
Right.
So we would take those kids in, and we always had like at least a half a dozen or up to 14 kids.
Wow.
At our house all the time, and feeding
always busy and fun times, I'm sure, and some crazy times.
And it was cool. I mean, that's one of the things I missed though, is I had a ranch, I had 3 horses, goat.
That's
a
a
few
life.
dogs, 60 cats, and 60 cats because people would throw their cats out. They would have litters in the city, and then they would drive way out in the
A
woods.
lot of cats.
Cats, and they would just find the food.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, I would be pouring almost a half a bag of 20 pounds of food on a picnic table, and skunks and cats and everything
Oh
would be eating
boy.
there, and I didn't even know. One day, like twilight, I dump out the food, and all these cats come running, and my daughter wouldn't let me. She was like the cat kid.
Uh-huh.
She's like, she wanted them all.
I
So,
bet, right.
and she's still like that.
My
And
niece
I'm
is
sitting
begging
there,
her.
and I look down, and there's a skunk right next to me
Oh
eating the
no.
food, and doesn't even care though that I'm there because it's eating the food. Man, I
Right.
hauled butt out of there. But that was one
Yeah.
of the things RSD took,
Mhm.
was now, I can't
Gotta
do stores like
downsize.
that. We had a worm farm, and I was working and making worm castings, making probably like 11,000 a month
Wow.
selling worm poo.
Right. That's good
And
stuff.
yeah, it is. And I lost that because I
Yeah.
couldn't take care of it. And I can't even now today, can't even hardly take care of a little worm farm. And
Right.
I think one of the biggest ones is making plans to do something, like future plans.
Right.
And you get to the day or the day before of this plan that you've been saving and looking forward to and talking about, and then you can't get out of bed.
Right. Yeah.
And you let everyone down that was included in the plans, including yourselves.
Yeah.
That I think that's the hardest one, even still today.
That's what makes it hard for me with this channel too. Like I was just saying in a previous video, like it's hard for me to plan to do things like this sometimes, like last week when we were supposed to shoot this video, or was it last week, the week, whenever, when we shot the first one, and come that Friday, man, I just wasn't feeling good. I wasn't, like, just everything was feeling bad, and I just couldn't get out of bed that day. So, and I hope that doesn't happen with future guests that I have on either. Like, I just feel it's rude to them to have them ready to go, and especially if it's someone who may, like the doctor, who his time is very important.
right.
I I hope that doesn't happen. I won't let it happen for him. I'll drag myself out. I have to that day, but
See, I do that. What you just said, like I push, like for 5 years, I really didn't even care. I was depressed.
yeah,
I was
the beginning's
in
hard,
video games, or we talked about earlier. I
right?
was like, I lived in the video game.
Video
That's
games and
me
TV
inside of
series, and
there. I didn't watch TV, but
I did a
I,
lot of Netflix.
I played Star Wars Galaxies and EverQuest, or
Yeah,
EverCrack, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, I would be in the game, and I would have everything and be pretty bad in there and running and fighting and doing all this stuff I can't do.
right.
And then one day, I thought, I was sitting there and the internet was out, and not because I didn't pay. It just, somebody crashed into a pole. I didn't have
Right.
internet for like a day and a half.
Oh man.
And it was like, that blew my whole world.
What do I do?
Yeah, like, I'm sitting around, oh my God, oh no,
Go LARPing.
yeah, really bad, yeah. And then I thought, okay, like I sat down and I started writing things down, like, okay. And I noticed my list that I was writing was all the things I can't do.
Okay.
And it was getting me more depressed and more depressed,
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out what I could do, but all I could think about was what I couldn't do. And the list got really long,
Right. Yeah.
So finally I drew a line beside it. I go, what can I do on the top of it? And then I started writing. It took a while to figure out what I could do.
Oh man.
What could I do? And then that was depressing me, like, geez.
Yeah, like really? That's it?
Like, I can't even make one lap around the Walmart.
Yeah.
So then I started making goals, like, I'm going to make one lap around the Walmart, and I'm going to give myself 1 year to be able to do it. And not on a chair, but with a cane, actually walking,
Right.
And it took me a while. I would pick a Walmart with a McDonald's, and I would start out with my wife, and I mean, she does the whole, all over the place.
Right.
And I would get like a little ways, and then I told her, okay, it's McDonald's,
Go back
for
to
me, that's
McDonald's.
find me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I could do the whole thing with her, and sometimes 2 times around, and I'll be toast tomorrow if I do.
Yeah.
And then I started doing the internet shows with my buddy, and at first I kept telling him, he was like, we're going to do it every Sunday night at 6 p.m. And I kept on telling him I can't commit.
Right.
I can't commit to that for me.
A solid schedule. That's hard.
Can't do it, And then one day, finally, he was having so much trouble. He's an ATT tech. Okay. But he didn't have any audio video skills. Like setting cameras up and doing all the audio and video lights and all that stuff. He didn't know, especially when it came to computers. He had no idea, and I'm totally, that's what I like doing. So finally I was like, okay, but if I ever let you down, can't get on my case.
Right.
Just telling you straight up beforehand, I'll commit and I'll do as many as I can. But if I miss some, there's a legit reason, and I never really told him what it was.
Oh, no.
No.
Were you worried that he would kind of like call BS and not believe you, or how come you didn't tell him?
Well, I didn't want him to know how bad it was. So I kind of told him a little bit, but I didn't tell him the depth of how bad it could go, or what could happen.
Could that be because you're worried, like how was it Steve Wynn when he told you can't do this because you won't survive? Was it kind of because of that? Like worried he wouldn't?
Well, I didn't want him to. It's the same thing with my grandkids. Like they come in and my daughters don't jump on him. Don't watch out, and I don't
want people to tiptoe around you.
Let him come at me.
Okay.
I'm gonna rough house with the boys, and it's gonna kill me, right? I mean, I'm gonna hurt, but I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Just bite through, chew on your cheek or something like that, so that you get through it, and then the next day, I'm gonna be tore back.
Yeah.
But only I don't want them to be afraid of me or think that they can't touch me or.
Yeah. See, I know exactly what you're talking about, because there's one time. Me and my wife and some good friends of ours, we were going to do something, and I felt like it was almost like I was going to be either left out or everything was going to be cut short because they were so worried about me, when It's like, you guys don't worry about me. Let me worry about myself. I still want to live a life. And if I have to suffer for the next 2 days, so be it. But I want to live my life and have this night with you guys.
Right.
So
have experience.
Yeah. And they felt bad about it afterwards when, I explained it to them. But then, we understood, and they know that I can handle myself sometimes. It may beat me down the next day or two, but we need that life.
But you recover.
Yeah, we get
that's
better.
The one thing I learned that we can count on at me, anyone, everyone. I go, this applies to everybody in the whole world. The one thing we can count on, change.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing will stay the same, right? I mean, like we could be in pain and think it's not going to stop because it goes 3 days or 5 days, sometimes 7 or 8 or 10 days,
Right.
But it's not going to stay there. You have to look for the day when it's not going to be so bad and you could get up and start living again.
Exactly.
So you have to always look forward to it, and everything changes. I've had people commit suicide with RSD because they couldn't see past the next week, that they've been in pain and they're suffering, and it is bad. I'm going to tell you that it gets bad. You even get down on yourself so hard because you're not that person, or you feel like your self-worth is gone.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was an executive and all this stuff, and then now I'm a nobody.
Right. You're used to running a lot of things, managing lots of people, and going from being that busy to nothing. That's like culture shock, pretty much.
Bad, and having money too.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a big one.
Anything you could buy, or if you wanted something, there was no problem at all. And if I didn't have the money, I'll go paint a house or do some side
There's
work.
always side work, right? Yep.
Yeah. Now I can't do the side work. I can't do anything like that. But only I want to encourage the RSD people. Don't sit down and stay down.
Don't fall into that hole.
When I went to a neurologist, I have to go every so often. They kept telling me when I was for 4 years, they kept saying, it's not RSD, it's in your head. You have back problems, and I do. I have degenerative disc disease, but it's not that bad. These other doctors and specialists, they would tell me, now go see the surgeon. They're going to do back surgery. Then I would get to the surgeon, and they're like, what are they sending you here for? This is nothing.
That just happened to my brother literally days ago.
Yeah, and then they're looking at my records. I go, your problem is the RSD in your leg. And I go, but they don't want to call it RSD. They want to call it back problems. So on the third time in for the surgery, like 4 years later, right. 4 years go by. I'm going in for my third back surgery, and I never had one yet. I go in, and the surgeon's like, I can't believe it, that they did this to you. And he goes, I'll be right back, and he brings in the head of the nerve department, neurosurgeons.
Right.
He's over the whole neurology, everything in this hospital. And he says, I'm going to make sure you never come back here again. We're going to write it in your file. He made sure. And then we were sitting there talking. He goes, here, let me see your cane. Let me see your cane. And I gave him my cane, and he was looking at it. And he says, he goes, I went over your records pretty thoroughly. And he says, when I came in here to talk with you, I expected your leg to look like this cane. Skinny,
just atrophied, and
all gone. He goes, there's no nerve juice going down your nerves. There's nothing happening. He goes, like a light switch, it's been shut off. So really, your leg should be dead.
Wow.
And all the muscles can't grow or anything. So whatever you're doing, he hands me the cane back, and he says, whatever you're doing, don't stop doing it.
Keep doing it.
And I knew what it was. It was get out of the chair, start walking around, using it. Your muscles if you use them, even though there's no nerve function, they're a little bit soft and a little bit less than the other leg, but there's still some there,
Yeah.
And if you keep using it, it'll slowly go away, not die off in 6 months or a year. And then you'll look like the cane, and then you can't go the chair.
Right.
At all. And so I was doing that, and then doing the internet. All of a sudden, I got on the show Finding Bigfoot, and not only was I on the show,
I know the show.
yeah. Not only was I on the show, I actually worked for Animal Planet while they were in town for a whole month.
That's crazy.
And
I'm pretty sure that's how I know your face.
Probably, yeah. And then, a few months later, they call me back. And this time it wasn't Animal Planet; it was Nat Geo, the National Geographic channel. And they called me and said, "Hey, we're doing a UFO show in your area. Can you do what you did last time for Finding Bigfoot?" I wasn't on the show this time because I didn't have a UFO story like I did on a Bigfoot story.
Right.
In fact, in Finding Bigfoot, I wasn't even supposed to be on the show. They did that as a side thing, like, hey, now it was like the second to last day. I wasn't even dressed for it. I was like working behind the camera,
Right.
They're like, okay, it's your turn. It's snowing.
You're like, oh, is my shirt okay?
Like my turn. Like, why didn't you guys warn me? They go, we want to get it natural, Like,
okay.
I would have dressed like a Bigfoot guy then, in camo or something,
Right.
This stupid warm, like I'm bundled up in 50 layers because it's snowing, and cold kills the RSD, it was killing me. And but then I did the Nat Geo and Chasing UFOs with James Fox and oh man, I'll get in trouble if I don't remember. Aaron Ryder, she does the one with Josh Gates, Destination Truth or something like that.
Okay.
And,
I think I've heard of that one, but I haven't seen it.
yeah, and then right after that, maybe a year goes by, and then Destination America calls, and they want to do a show, and I didn't work for him this time. I was just on the show telling my story, and and then my internet thing took off.
That's
My
cool.
little internet thing, this little bitty few times on TV, and then all of a sudden, internet, and you can't go places like Walmart, and you can't go inside the camping goods or anything.
Right, yeah.
Trapped in
Any
there.
sporting good place.
Yeah, it's funny, you go, like, we were in Morro Bay for Fourth
I
of
love
July.
Morro Bay.
Yeah, and we're gonna park at the Rock and watch the 4th of July thing, and
Yeah.
we had a front parking place. We've been there all day, so we had like the prime real estate for looking at the fireworks. And then my wife's like, "Hey, I want a coffee." And they had a little shuttle bus that goes out to the Rock and back into the Morro Bay,
Okay.
I told her I'll go get some coffee, and I think I'm gonna be not known, just, man, I had like 30 people in the coffee shop recognize me, and then they weren't
crazy.
helping me. They're just like crowding me. Then they all got on the bus with me, and then when I got off at the Rock, I'm like holding all this coffee, and I want to go back to my car, and there's all these people asking me questions about
They hang out and party with you?
Yeah, Bigfoot real, how many Bigfoots are there? All this stuff, and then my wife sees it. She comes over, takes coffee out of my hand, and takes off walking and leaving me there. I'm like, "Hey, wait,
Thanks, babe.
stop!" Yeah, but I got out of there, but I learned. What I learned was, I can't do a lot of stuff, but what I can do, I do. I just go for it, and I pay for it later, like you said. I'm gonna experience the ultimate that I can get away with.
Do as much as you can,
and I'll pay for it later, because I know I'm 60 years old now. There'll be a time when age and RSD catches up with me, and it's going to take me out faster than a regular person. It's healthy,
right?
There'll come a time when your muscles aren't working because you're old, and then RSD is going to take the rest of it out, and I'll be pretty messed up. And so I'm like I'm trying to do anything I can right now while I can.
Yeah. That's going to help you in the long run too, though. Because if you kind of gave up now, well, that would only come quicker,
Right.
I really believe that we have to keep ourselves as active as possible and really push ourselves, man. Because if you don't push yourself to that point of pain, you're gonna just kind of shrivel up, like my doctor told me when I was asking for an amputation. He said he's only prescribed it to one patient, and it was a similar situation as mine, but his was so bad that he couldn't even get out of bed ever at all, and his foot kind of shriveled up, to where he couldn't even use it anymore. And that's when he had it amputated, because it just literally shriveled up. So when I say that, I'm not saying that metaphorically, I'm saying that very literally. So you have to stay active.
I actually fought that foot thing where it wanted to curl like that.
Yeah, that's scary. You don't want that, man.
It hurts, man, really bad, because it's pulling unnaturally, and it hurts. I mean, on top of the RSD pain, it's murder. But I kept on standing up and stretching it back the other way.
Yeah, you have to stretch.
I still have to do it. Sometimes my toes want to curl under, and so I'll get up and I'll be I can't walk on my tippy toes, but I'll be like pushing on the floor. Stretch that back out, stretch it back out.
How about cramping? Oh, go ahead.
Man, I get that real bad.
I get such bad cramping. Like, like I said, I have to stay active, but the more active I am, the worse my cramping is. And it's usually at night when I'm sleeping.
Same here. Wake you straight up out of the bed. You got to jump up,
And you can't do anything. Sometimes it'll last for minutes. And my wife's like, freaking out because she feels bad and there's nothing she could do.
And you know what? And if they massage it, it hurts worse.
Oh, there's nothing you
I
could
have
do.
no idea. You know, the massage actually hurts.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just touching my leg hurts, so they can't do anything, you know, at
Right.
all.
You know, my
It's stuck so bad.
a good analogy I have for what it feels like is, I wish I had a rubber band around here. Take a rubber band, and you know how you twist it up so that it's
Really tight,
just
like those
coiled
little
up,
airplanes.
right? And then you know
Winds
how
up
when you bring it
to-
closer, how it coils up together?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It feels like my tendons are all coiled up and they're just knotting up, and oh, it's the worst feeling ever. So, yeah, I've
Yeah.
just been wondering if that's a pretty common thing for most people with RSD, because I can't even. I walk the dog every day, and we go for a good distance. I want to say almost a mile, maybe,
Yeah.
and we do that every day. And I can't seem to build up the muscle to stop those cramps or get them to go away. So I think it's there forever, and I still have atrophy on my left leg. You can
Yeah.
really see it above my left knee and all that, but
You can see mine below the knee more.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my calf isn't too big of a muscle compared to my right, but it's more just right above my knee on my thigh. You could just see it's small. So
See, now mine's all mushy and then like saggy, you know, the
yeah,
skin is just all saggy down because I used to be really muscular, you know,
build out more. Yeah, so
and then now
it's
there's nothing, so everything just like gets mushy and saggy, like, you know.
yeah,
I even begged my doctor for like 3 years to cut my leg off, and he was telling me, well, if I cut it off, you'll have phantom leg pain and you'll still feel it. So do you want to? You're getting around pretty good. Do you really want to? And I thought it was going to take the pain away, though. And when I found out it wasn't, then
right.
it was like, no, I'll keep it. But it's still, to this day, every once in a while, it'll be like, man, cut this sucker off. You know, I mean, it gets so bad. You think you're better without it, but
Right. Well, like I explained to my doctor when he told me the same thing about the phantom limb pain and all that. The thing about it with me is that, like, I have hardware in my leg and the
right.
metal, and you could see it if I were to show you. Um, I got big bolts sticking out of my leg, and I knock that on stuff all the time by accident,
Oh,
or the cold
mhm.
runs through it and it just hurts. And so the thing is with me is if I had it gone, like, even if I was using crutches, man, I wouldn't be knocking it on stuff, making it hurt worse.
Right.
Um, but I mean, if I could, I think I would. If I can get a decent prosthetic, I think I would do it. I don't know.
Isn't it a trip to even be contemplating these things?
Yeah,
You
to
know what
even
I mean?
think about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
just to
what
even
normal
have the
person
thought
would.
running through your brain, you know, and one that you even think about more than you'd like to care to admit. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll say some things that like freaks my wife out, you know, like, oh my God, don't even think like that. It's like too late. I already been thinking like that for a year, you know, like it's like spread. All of
Right.
a sudden, you know, I didn't believe it spread. I did all the study and research, and I used to think the ones that talked about it spreading were just having other problems in their body, you know.
Right.
And then I started having kidney problems, really bad kidney problems, and
Yeah.
blood pressure problems, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And finally, after I think 7 years of tests and this and that, come to find out it's RSD spread my
Internally.
into my kidney, and then it started taking over my autonomous nervous system, which it already does.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
do your fight or flight and all that, where you
Right.
sweat and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it started taking control of how the blood vessels constricting and not constricting.
Vasodilation.
Yeah, and it like was giving me permanent high blood pressure, stroking me out. You know?
Yeah.
And it was all from RSD.
Yeah.
They can't find anything else wrong of why.
I saw my doctor just recently, this past week, and I actually mentioned you to him, and he's the one who worked at Stanford. He like worked in the pain department. I think he helped set up the pain department at Stanford. Worked there for like 30 years or something. So he really knows RSD in and out, man. I love the guy. And I was mentioned to him about how it went to your heart and kidneys, and he started explaining it all to me, and he was like, he broke it down, and he at the end he started laughing. He's like, man, you just brought up the last 30 years of my career, like just thinking about it all and talking about every little part of it.
It's hard to find doctors that know that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it gets me all teary because to me it's like giving yourself a death sentence, kind of like there is no cure at all. I mean, like when I run into people on the street, or I'm working for some, you know, like say I'm working for Animal Planet or whatever, they think you're going to get better. So you get emails and, you know, texts and stuff like, how you doing, man? Are you way better now? You know, no.
Not going to.
Well, if you were better, you know, we're over here and I'm shooting Naked and Afraid, you know, and it would be cool to go and do something, you know, and it's like.
My wife watches that show all the time.
Well, I'm best friends with the top camera guy.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
We were joking saying if I didn't have my leg problem, we'd go apply for it.
Yeah, he loves doing it, you know. I used to have to grab him when we were doing Animal Planet, because he does a lot of like Nat Geo and Animal Planet stuff, and
That's cool.
move it. He's one of the best ones in Hollywood. He used to do Oprah, and he did a lot of music videos and stuff man. Movie stuff, trailers. Yeah, but I mean a lot of cable shows and things. I mean, he's really good.
That's cool.
And we went out here and we had to take what they call B-roll, and it's just stuff local. Things, you know,
like shots of the sky,
fill in things, you know. Yeah,
right.
Just stuff.
Filler.
We got out here and there was animals. There was ducks and some geese and some other stuff in the river. And we had a lot of shooting to do. You know, we had like 10 places to go and shoot, and you have to set up and take down and set up and take down. Well, we get out there and I couldn't get them away from the ducks. and the birds and water things, you know. I mean, we spent like 4 hours out there, you know, like, Dave, hey dude, come on, you know, we gotta go, you know.
Focus, man.
He's like, hey, I live for this stuff, you know. Screw him, we'll come back tomorrow and do the rest.
He's a nature guy, man.
Yeah, he was way into it.
I love nature. I miss living up in the mountains, you know. I lived up there for 10 years and I miss it.
Really? Where did you live?
Up in Santa Cruz Mountains. Up in Scotts Valley.
Yeah. Beautiful up there. Beautiful.
Yeah, we lived right on the creek, you know, and it was so nice. I loved it. You know.
Are you close to the train, where they have the train?
Roaring Camp. Pretty close. It was probably about a 15 to 20 minute drive from my house, I'd say, maybe. So cool. Not too far. Yeah.
The only thing we would go over there Bigfooting, because there's Bigfoots over there.
Yeah.
And
there's lots of
and stuff like that. Along that creek, right? In that creek, a lot of people have sightings in that creek area. And man, I was walking around in there and I realized it's freaking poison oak and poison ivy.
You got so much poison oak. Yeah.
I couldn't even go anywhere. I mean, I told everybody that stuff jumps on me. So I just stayed on the road. And then they all go in and they go hiking and everything, and they come back. It was we were over by where the train is.
Love Creek, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know the names. It was by Felton.
Yeah, it might be Love Creek. I'm pretty sure.
And then they all went hiking and they do all that stuff in there. And I thought I was safe from the poison oak. I didn't go in there, you know. So
yeah,
good, you know. And then we came back and we're talking about everything, and we're leaning on the hood of the car, and we moved around and we spent like a couple hours right there. And where they leaned and then I would lean, I got it all over me.
Oh, man.
Just for those guys.
The oils.
In the hospital, you know, because those idiots, you know, and really I'm the big idiot. I should have thought of it, you know, the oils are getting all over everything.
Yeah.
I should know better, you know, but That stuff's got me in the hospital a couple times already. I hate that stuff.
Yeah, me too. I used to not get it, and then I randomly like had it one day, and I'm like, where? It was like right above my butt on my back, and I'm like, how did I get it there? I must have sat down somewhere, and it was the oils were there. I don't know, because I definitely avoid it, even though I don't get it, I avoid it. So
You know what a lot of people don't know, and this is good for everybody, okay? Like, I mean, everyone, RSD, not RSD, all people, if you are prone to poison oak and you get in it and you got in it, don't take a hot shower.
oh no,
The
no,
steam
do
will
not.
spread it all in your nose and your ears and everything. Go home and take a cold shower and use Fells Naphtha soap.
Oh yeah,
It's a bar soap, but it will take the oils right off of you. And then take your clothes off and put them in the wash immediately as soon as you get home.
yeah. My
And then go wipe
wife,
your car seat down.
yeah, do wipe everything
Yeah.
down that it came in contact with. Even if your dog was with you and your dog brushed
Oh,
on it,
yeah.
you pet your dog, it's gonna get you. So you got to even wash your dog.
My
But my
dog's
wife told
got
me a
it so many
story.
times.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that could have been how I got it that time too.
Could have been.
But my wife told me a story about when she was a little girl. Her mom got it, and the hot water feels good on poison oak, so that's
Yeah.
why people think that. But yeah, don't do it. She took a hot bath, I guess, and took a brush and started like itching it, and she ended up going to the emergency room, if I remember correctly. So
Oh, man. She were like blisters on
swelled
blisters.
up. I think, yeah, she was just swelling up everywhere. And I think even like, I don't know if they said like her throat or something. I don't know. I just know she swelled up
Good.
everywhere bad. So
It gets in the
because the
steam and
histamine,
then you breathe it in. I mean, it'll go up in your nose. I mean,
I think
I've
that was what
had,
happened. Maybe, yeah. Ugh.
I've had it like that a few times. In fact, I can't even take steroids anymore.
Oh, really?
The kind they give you for poison oak.
Yeah, yeah.
They said
That's
it
cortisone, isn't it?
I can't remember. It was some kind of steroid, but it'll dry it out like in a day or two.
I think
And
it's cortisone.
but I can't take it. They gave me so much, and then if you take more, it starts degenerating your joints.
Oh, wow.
So and
Yeah,
I
yeah. I think
can't
I've
have nothing degenerating my hip or right leg. I mean, it's
right,
already osteoporosis, like
right.
invisible to an X-ray almost.
Well, and if you get too much of the like cortisone injections, I believe from what I've heard, it'll start or it'll stop building it up naturally, that lubrication. Because I think our bodies naturally make cortisone or something like that, uh, that helps
Those are the
lubricate
little
the joints.
pills. They're like little steroid pills.
Oh,
They,
that's what you. Oh, I thought you were talking about like the injection.
and they give you like 50 of them, and then the next
I've
day
never had it, so I don't know.
you, know, you take like 10, and then the next day you take 9, and the next day
I
you take
see.
8, and then by the time you get to the end, you don't, the poison oak's like a history.
Okay.
But only I was from a kid. I lived in the mountains too, raised in the mountains, and we built a fort. That's when I first learned about it. I was like second grade and built a fort in this really cool bush. Had like a little crawl way to get in.
Oh,
It was open on the inside. It was
uh-huh.
all poison oak,
Oh,
man.
man.
That was the first time I went up in the hospital with it.
Good way to learn about it.
Yeah, yeah. And then I still was like stupid growing up, like forget to look and be running right, doing deer hunting and stuff like that, and wind up in it and not realize it because you're so intent on what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, bad boy.
Oh man. Well, we got a little bit of time left, so I, since we're kind of on this topic already, I want to know what advice you have for new people with RSD, because like we are talking, that first year is the hardest, man. And we go through a lot of depression, which I'm kind of thinking about doing depression as my next topic, maybe on the channel. I'm still thinking about it. I like the fibromyalgia and thought too.
Yeah.
So
Well, because your pain is you could go through all the chronic pain things,
oh yeah.
and I'm sure like a lot of people have RSD and fibromyalgia, where
Right.
some people start out with fibromyalgia and then they get RSD too, so then they have fibromyalgia and RSD,
Right.
Oh my God, it goes
Well,
hand
like
in hand.
the other thing I was thinking that's chronic pain condition that I have is osteoarthritis in my knee, because
Yeah.
like my doctor said the surgeon said it looked like a dog chewed it up from the accident.
Right.
So, I'm still trying to think about because the depression goes along with every
Oh yeah.
chronic pain condition, I think. So I do need to touch on that because that's a very important one, I feel. And I think it's something we all need to learn how to cope with. So, you know, but yeah, if someone is watching that's very new to RSD, like I just want to know your any thoughts you might have for them, like that could maybe help them
Well,
get past this.
one of the first things is don't stop using it. Try to get used to socks, or if it's on your arm, try to get do stuff that desensitizes it in your
Yes.
brain, because if you baby it all the time, you're gonna lose all use to it, and you won't be able to touch it. I mean, it'll start ruling your life, and you don't want it ruling your life. Like right now, you were talking about the osteoarthritis. I have in my hip, the femur bone goes up, into the hip,
The ball and
and it's like
socket
in a
joint.
socket. Well, the where it goes in is worn down, and it looks like claws just scraping on it, so it hurts when I walk every step, because it's like just going.
And you probably have bone spurs too.
Oh yeah, little claw things. It looks like, and then the bone is without nerve. It doesn't grow anymore, regrow or anything. So it's just wearing down.
Yeah.
But only that, like, it hurts to walk, and then the next day it even hurts more if you use it a lot. The next day it really hurts.
Right.
So, but only you can't let that rule your life. If you barely get it and you have RSD and they tell you that and they don't start treating it right away, for the very first ones, I say go get. I mean, like, dog them.
Find that doctor that will help you, because the longer you put it off, the worse it's gonna get. And the desensitizing
in remission, even in the first 6 months or so.
Yeah, you could save your future.
Yeah, you could.
The desensitizing I like too, and I think it's very important. If people don't know what that is out there, desensitizing is when you take different textures. So take a towel, take things that have different feels, different textures, a piece of plastic, even take your coat that's like got leather, and just rub it on the skin and get those different textures, and even try to find some rougher textures.
Yeah.
There's a video on Netflix that's about a guy who's like a world famous climber. It's actually about him at Yosemite and climbing El Capitan, and he had an accident where he was sawing something on a table saw and he cut his thumb off, I think it was. And your thumb, you need that for climbing, right?
Yeah.
And they told him he'll never climb again. And so all the nerve damage, he got mason jars and he filled it with like twigs, sand, rice, all these different things, and he would just jam his thumb nub into that to get that feeling back. And he was able to climb El Capitan, I forget the free climate, and he was able to do that afterwards. So I mean, wow. That physical therapy, use it, because it will help you.
I know some RSD people, and I don't have contact with them anymore, but like in the first few years when I got it in 2000, I was joining all these groups, and you would see these young people get it, and I mean, it would break my heart because they're like 12, 14, 15, and knowing what I know, what I knew and they don't know, was they're not gonna, it isn't, they're all ready to get rid of it, and they're gonna heal, and they're making all these plans for their life, and it's not gonna be that easy.
Yeah.
So you would sit there and go, oh my God, poor thing. But I watch them grow, and I've noticed that the ones that kept the plans and at least tried, went further than the ones that took it like, oh my God, this is like a death sentence and I'm done.
Yeah.
They don't do anything. And then the next time you see them, their hands all like curled all up like that and just, and hurting, or and their leg is all messed up, and they're in a wheelchair, and you're like, they should have been pushing the envelope at least as much as they could, or I don't think you have to push really hard. You just have to make an effort every day for a little while, or every other day. You just got to keep on moving.
Just keep pushing and don't give up.
Yeah, just keep moving, because if you stop moving, you'll start locking up dystonia and all that stuff. I mean, you'll start locking up pretty quick.
It's true.
So there's desensitization and keep moving.
Yeah,
that's
There's some young YouTubers that I've seen. One of them, she's 17, I believe. Her name's Stephanie Weber. So go check her out. She's a really cool girl. She's got a cool YouTube channel. And I've talked to her a little bit just through the videos here on YouTube. But she's, I think she's had it since she was like 11, if I remember correctly. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Stephanie. But, I just feel bad for the poor girl because she's so young, and like just not being able to live out those young years like you should bums me out. It's so sad to see that and hear that. And, it's really sad because she's too young for that, man. So, right. And there's a lot like that, like it kind of gets me teary eyed, just talking about it. But, it's rough. So 100%, man, just keep moving. Don't let it rule you. As my doctor said, something he said that was really cool was, he said, you're not a RSD patient. He said, you're not a chronic pain patient. You're a patient with chronic pain. He said, there's more to you than that. Chronic pain isn't who you are. So I really appreciated when he said that. And that's very true.
Because that's me too. Like I have the chronic pain, but only that isn't me.
That's one part of your life.
That's something that's like a daily thing for me, but only it isn't what rules me.
Exactly.
I rule my own self, and I tell the pain, even though it doesn't go away, I tell it some days, I'm going over here, you can scream and shout all you want, but we're going to go. We're going, and then I drag that thing screaming and shouting all the way,
Right.
It screams and shouts. Then the next day, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to recover and just let it, scream and shout all day then too.
Right.
Be laying there going, dang it, shut up. Like, it's me to shut up.
It's like you got to fight with it, It's like, no, man, you're not going to win today. But, to me, there's a lot more than just my RSD. And nowadays, unfortunately, it's like, oh, that's Jack with RSD. That's not what I want people to look at. Like, I'm a musician, and there's people that don't even know that. And when they're like, oh, you play music? It's like, it bums me out. It's like, man, people don't even know that anymore. So yes, I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I have a life too, besides RSD. So that's just one little part of us. So
I liked your idea about bringing your wife on as from a carer perspective.
Yeah,
because I mean that really we couldn't even survive without that other person.
She was my rock, still is, man.
Yeah, I mean they're really important to us, and I feel sorry for the ones that don't have anyone.
100%, because I don't know how I would have done it.
Me either, man. Me either. I mean, I would be wallowing around, bedridden probably.
Yeah, I'd probably be homeless in the streets, dead or something, because I would have given up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or maybe even took yourself out. Like I thought about that a few times myself. I hate to admit it, but
no, it's
laying there. For me, the night is the worst, man, because there's nothing going on, and my wife will say, "Turn that TV off." It's keeping me awake. So then everything's off. You can't turn on your cell phone because the light bothers her. I have to go in the other room or something.
100%.
But I want to lay in my own bed like her, but I can't sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm just laying there in the dark, and your mind goes to the pain.
Yeah.
and it seems like it intensifies.
It
You know,
does.
so it's like I hate the night and the sleepless part where you don't sleep. Man, that some days I'm like a zombie because I went like 5 days with 2 hours sleep or something. And
Yeah.
it's because you cannot sleep. And
Yeah.
finally go to sleep, and then you wake up with this weird out of a weird dream where you're getting hit by a car on your bad leg, and when you wake up it's hurting just that bad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, really weird dreams because of the
Oh,
pain.
I had night terrors for the first probably I would say 5 years. It's been maybe 2 years since they've gone away. Maybe 2 years. Um there'd be because it'd be like summertime and we'd have all our windows open and my wife would wake me up. She'd be like, Jack, you're cussing. And I would be, when people talk in their sleep, they're like, no, I was speaking full, clear words saying, F you.
Yeah.
Like, I was saying bad things, man. She was worried our neighbors were going to think we were fighting at 3 or 4 in the morning. And, I mean, and I'd be having full on, like, realistic dreams, man, at
Mhm.
war. I never joined the military. I was never in, any real battle or nothing, but I would be at war with guns. There'd be bullets flying past me. I mean, like, just crazy night terrors, man. And like, I just can't even explain some of the dreams I had.
I've
So
got
the pain
those too,
translates,
man. Yeah.
the pain signals translate into bad things in your dreams, is what I believe.
Well, I
So,
got it spreading into my arms now, and
no.
it hurts my like I can't pick up milk jugs, and I'm starting to learn, what I can do now. What can I do with my arms and hands?
Oh,
And
man.
my wife for a long time, she's like, "Don't talk like that. It is not spreading there.
That's what my wife said because I think it's in my
Don't
right
talk."
leg now, but I'm in denial too, but she's more in denial.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time, you're thinking it, but you don't want to even speak it
Don't
because
even want
it's
to
like
believe it.
unspeakable. But then there comes a time where, like I
You have to
can't hold
accept
that
it.
milk jug for longer than 2 seconds, and it's like almost dropping it because my wrist can't take it.
Or you have to two-hand it.
Yeah, and then I was telling her, I started telling her more. I think it's spreading. Finally, I told my doctor, and for a while he wasn't believing the spread either, but as he's treating me and he sees it going in, and he's the one that figured out it was going in the autonomous central nervous system thing, or I don't know how to
Okay.
say it, but the nerves you don't control,
The
that.
sympathetic nervous system is mostly what RSD attacks, which is the fight or flight nerve. Um, and that's in everybody who has RSD though.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the autonomous nerve or not. The central nervous system though is different from the sympathetic nerve or nervous system. I know
I know that
that.
this one's the one that where you don't even think of it. You know what I mean? Like it
Pretty sure that's a
controls,
sympathetic nerve, but
does
that's normal.
dilation of your eyes, and I mean all that stuff. It,
Yeah,
it's attacking that one. It's like your body's attacking itself, kind of like it's.
I I'm pretty sure that's what RSD is though.
Yeah.
That's the sympathetic nervous system, and that's like when something happens and you start like your heart starts pounding and you can't help it, or
It really
um
goes. My heart pumps out. I mean, it'll be for no reason. I didn't climb a flight of stairs. I didn't
yeah.
run 100 yards. I mean, I'm laying on my bed watching TV. All of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Start sweating and everything, and
Yeah. And I
so
bet more for you than me because you said it's in your heart too, huh?
yeah. And now I have 4 heart stents, and
Wow.
that's from when I was working out and stopped working out,
Yeah.
and I wasn't. My body was used to so much exercise, and then it wound up storing the fat, and it stored some of it on the arteries, and so you have little
Oh,
arteries on top of your heart,
right.
and the fat would squish it closed.
Wow.
So it was
Scary,
either get
man.
quadruple bypass, which
Yeah.
that's what they told me. Either that I could do that, or I could put stents. And
Wow.
and I had no idea. But my dad died from having triple bypass twice.
I remember you
It's
saying
like
that. Yeah.
give me the stents.
Yeah, please.
Like, I'll take that. I don't want to go through all the surgery of cracking your ribs or your sternum.
Yeah, no thanks, man. That sounds so
afraid
painful.
of RSD. And then I got like teeth problems. I have 3 teeth that because I grind them because of the pain. You're just like
Me too.
in your sleep. Wake up
Yeah.
with your teeth broken and everything because you're grinding them down in this.
Yeah, man. That's why my teeth are so. That's not from braces or nothing. I've never had braces. My teeth look good, maybe, but there's a lot of problems there, and they're all ground flat. So, yeah.
Like, I got some that are like all the way to the gums that are broke off all the way, and I need to go to the dentist, but only I'm afraid. Like, so far, every time I have something happen to me, I get the RSD there. And I'm thinking, man, do I want RSD in my face?
No. Well, there's something
I do need to go because the teeth can kill you, if you get it all infected. But still scared of.
Be careful with that.
I'm scared of my doctors too. I'm scared of doctors because they're the ones that sent me down this path. I wouldn't even have went down the path if they didn't say, "Oops,"
I hear you. I mean, that's that's a rough one, man. Because I mean, I don't blame you. You got treated pretty poorly, or you got dealt a pretty bad hand for sure.
Well, at least they're like the dentist. I just have to go see him, and I keep putting it off. Putting it off. I don't have any. The pain in my leg is worse than the pain in my face, so it doesn't. That's the weirdest thing. You get a toothache, it ain't nothing compared to RSD.
No. I have a pretty bad tooth that's I have a toothache all the time from it, but like it's still not as bad as my RSD, but it does sometimes get close to it, man, but I don't have insurance so for that.
Oh man.
I don't know why I don't get it. What's weird is my wife qualified for dental, but I didn't. I don't get it. But we should get wrapping it up here.
Right.
I appreciate you coming back on, man, and we had some really good talk. I appreciate it. I do. So
well, I'm looking for some more people that might has RSD and get some stories because I want this channel to fly.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope I get some more on. I want to get a few more RSD interviews on before I move on to the next chapter. So please, if anyone's interested, come talk to me.
And then don't kick yourself too bad for not. Like having times where you can't do it. I mean, I deal with the same thing on my channel, and at first everybody wasn't understanding. And then I just gave them a lesson. I did a few shows on RSD and what it is, and everybody backed off, like, except for the newer ones that didn't get that,
Yeah.
But I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to let things dictate to me, even a YouTube channel or whatever, I have to live to where I'm able to do it, and if I can't do it, I can't do it. And I'm not going to kill myself over it.
Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. And get all funked out,
Right.
I'm funked out today. No.
Don't be funky.
That's right.
All right, brother. Well, nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, man. It was good seeing you.
All right, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell.
And go
don't forget to check out Alan's channel too.
Squatch
Zone and Sky Squatching.
There we go. Right on,
brother. All right. See you soon, man. Peace.
Peace.
You'll have to fight for it. Prepare for battle.